Hey everybody, my name is Robert Trussardi, and I'm going to tell you a couple of things about myself. One is I am going to become a billionaire. Yeah, you heard it here first. So it seems like a crazy statement to make, but I've really just started to get in the last, couple of years that holy crap, like anything you want is actually available to you. And people have already done basically everything to be successful. They've gone out, they've taken the risk, they've used their passion, and all that knowledge is already out there for us. They're in book forms, they're on YouTube videos, and you can kind of go and pick and choose your flavor of what you want. And what I want to do is I want to generate the value for humanity on the level of billionaire. What that looks like to me is using the knowledge that's out there to get to that point, and on the way building value for people that's at the level of $1 billion. And from there, charities, and before charities, I'm actually working on a community fair right now. I'm not going to go into that, but like really, like anything you want to achieve in your life is already out there in access for you. And I think a lot of people in my generation didn't fully get that, and didn't get it from their parents or their communities, or maybe their parents were trying to give it to them and they weren't listening. But I've started to read recently that I am what's called an ENFP personality, and I don't really believe in the occult or crystals or any of that stuff. I know it's for some people, it's not quite for me, and part of it's because part of my part of my ENFP personality is I also have kind of a logic brain. And I think it's my subconscious. It's part of the logic brain. So you'll find someone like me who's got a lot of passion, who's got who's good with people, and then I also got kind of like this logic side that's going on. Now I've started to notice I can actually marry these two. I can actually bring them together, and use them to fulfill on a vision, a passion that I have, on a goal that I have, say becoming a billionaire. So so why would I want to become a billionaire? Well, besides the value, the big reason, the number one big reason, is because I want to have kids, and I want to have a family, and I'm uncertain about what the future is going to look like in 30 years in terms of the environment, the economy. What does it look like? See, I believe in the climate change is happening. I believe that it's been happening. All the facts and data's there. I trust my scientists. I trust the people who observe the facts that are happening in reality, who go and they chronicle the observations. They come together, they share their observations, and they're like, look, so if like 10 of us are all having the same observation, then we can scientifically say that this is probably accurate. And we're going to keep investigating because we love to prove ourselves wrong, but this looks accurate. Climate change, accurate. There's CO2 in the atmosphere. We're seeing all kinds of change. You just have to just look it up, global climate change. And if you don't believe me, just look up, your favorite scientists, or look up the top scientists, see what they're saying about it. They're all saying the same thing. When you're intellectuals or scientists, the people who want to rationalize reality and be able to figure out what is truth and what is fiction, like these are people, we ought to listen to, because they're they don't want to be wrong. They're very smart about not being wrong about this. So maybe I don't need to convince you, right? I know I'm going off on a convincing bent here, but so what does that future look like? What does it look like for those people? So what I've recently come up with is a plot, a course for humanity. When I say plot, I don't mean like a story plot. I mean like plotting a course for humanity. So I've started to think, okay, so if other people want what I want, which is the human race being prosperous. So that's everybody doing well, everyone having a roof over their head, everyone having food and water. Anyone who might be depressed or challenged, have someone to talk to about that, and have support. And so what that ultimately looks like for me is like that Star Trek future where we can have everything provided for us, or if not for us, we're part of something. Now I know, stick with me because I know it's starting to sound like a little weird, right? Like a little like, oh, well, how do we get there? Yeah, I mean, spaceships and stuff. Well, I'm not really focused on the spaceships, actually. I'm focused on the immediate future. Like, what can we do today to structure, to plot a course for humanity that allows everybody to have those things? So let me paint you a little picture of the future, right? So if humanity's doing well and we're being prosperous, that also means that, we're probably multiplying in numbers, we're having kids. Not only are we having kids, but we're building, we're creating things. And so all those resources also have to come from somewhere. So where are they going to come from? So I think, the end goal is to have the human race have the ability to actually just, manipulate matter. So let's say, if you saw the Martian movie, you saw Matt Damon. He's up in Mars, and he needs to create water. And so this is factually what he's able to do, is he was actually able to create water based on the elements that he had. It wasn't easy. It was kind of difficult. But I'm talking about like creating, the type of element that you need, the type of matter you need on a massive scale. So if we're going out and we're fetching asteroids, and we get like, a bunch of copper and other stuff, whatever's inside this asteroid, and then we don't have to live with the copper. We can actually transform that into something else. So for me, that's kind of like the end goal future, right? So we can terraform planets. We can build, we can recreate the earth in such a way that it's sustainable and it's healthy again. Now, the real question is, how do we get there? How do we get to a future where the earth is healthy and, sustainable, where we could just create matter like this? See, that's a great question. And I think it all comes from the effort. It's all going to come from the effort and the structure of knowing if that's where we're going. Well, then we just need a structure to fulfill on that. Elon Musk, he wants to get to Mars because for him, I think that's on the path to there, right? So I want to become a billionaire so I can be a part of this path and I can help us plot a course, and not just myself. I just want to be a part of plotting this course for humanity. So, I really want to get practical about it. I recently discovered something about myself. I was talking to my sister, and I'm doing this class, and the class essentially has me ask my sister these interview questions about myself. So I asked my sister, Lizzie, I said, hey, Liz, so what are one of my weaknesses? And she goes, well, you can be kind of, I don't know, the word I want to use is delusional. And I was like, okay, delusional. I'm like, tell me more about that. And she was like, okay, well, sometimes what it came down to was I can be impractical. I can set a goal, like say being a billionaire, or I can set a goal like, like transforming matter on a massive scale. Big visions, right? Like those are big things. So where I'm coming from is we just got to get practical about it. Like it's a big idea, right? But I need to be practical about it. I need to be practical about how I approach these goals. So this is something I discovered for myself this morning. So I woke up and I just started to think, yeah, like let's just be practical today. Let's just do everything practically. Like let's get up, write like a vision letter for what my future looks like. Let's go for a run. Let's make this video. This is actually my second attempt at the video since the first one didn't quite come out right. And here I am. And one of my other intentions was to make this video under 15 minutes, and we're at 9 minutes. Not bad. But being practical, right? I really can't afford to just waste my time the way I used to be wasting my time. It was really impractical for me. It was really impractical for me, to be sitting in my bed thinking, well, if I want to have big goals, and let me tell you a story about how I got to big goals, was I was listening to Grant Cardone, and Grant Cardone was saying he didn't think he originally dreamt big enough, that he should have dreamt bigger. And I'm like, okay, me and my ENFP personality, I was like, man, if I just set my goals to be big, I can go big, Grant. I can go really big. I can go billionaire big. I can go save humanity big. All right, game on, man. It's a challenge. So that's how I got there. That's how I got there. So I don't want to be going on for too long, but I am open for criticism. And I'd love to know how I've kind of come off in this video. I know it's probably been shaken around a little bit. And there's all kinds of things I want to share. So I'm going to start sharing this journey of mine of becoming a billionaire. Why? Because I think it's going to have value for people, and I just can't do it on my own. I can't do it on my own, and I wouldn't want to, because this is about humanity. This is about the human race. This is about your brothers, your sisters, your children, your children's children. You know, and it's something I think it's worth being passionate about, and worth waking up in the morning and reevaluating what I'm doing every day, what we're doing every day. And, we already all have that impulse, and I want to be a part of using it. I love all these other personalities online who I see they're sharing their knowledge. They're creating communities around things like this, like how to create businesses and how to make our lives matter. So thank you very much for listening, and I would love to hear any of your feedback that you have, any criticisms, and thank you for joining me on this journey. I really appreciate it. All right, thank you.